Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Solopreneur Spotlight Series. In this series, let's get inspired by coaches, energy healers, and solopreneurs with a passion and dream to run their own business. And today I have a special guest with me. Her name is Anastasia, and she is from Greece. I'm so happy to be connecting with her. Let me just read her bio first. Anastasia is a psychic coach and energy healer, and she supports heart-based business owners to find clarity and to follow their unique path to divine self-expression. And that's in order to create flow, inspiration, and to also open the ways to manifesting what they desire. Her work supports business owners to limit their experimentation and trial and error into soul-aligned action that brings about results and transforming the confusion and struggle into confidence. She works with several healing modalities and a quantum field of information of the Akashic Records to combine deep awareness and the healing of mental and emotional limiting patterns and blocks. We share a lot of similar interests. Now, thank you and welcome, Anastasia, to this Solopreneur Spotlight Series. I'm happy to have you here.
Thank you, Evelyn. I'm happy and excited to be here with you today.
Well, I'm excited and I'm just very curious, like, how do you end up doing this work and what inspires you?
Yeah, how I ended up doing this work was a process of several years of trying to find myself and feel better and express my unique, authentic self as much as possible. So I studied electrical engineering. I did my master's degree and I got a job. I thought I would become, this business person that travels around the world and is a manager in a big company. But my experiences with jobs were not that nice because I found myself in very toxic environments. And a few years into it, I realized it was definitely not for me. And probably the dream of becoming an electrical engineer and manager in a big company was not my dream, but someone else's, maybe society's, maybe the people that thought that that's what I should do. And in the process of getting out of this dark spot that I found myself, my body was failing me. I was feeling depressed. I was feeling lost and confused about life. So at some point, I decided that I would try anything in order to get out of it, because I decided that that cannot be my life. And if I went down that path, I would probably get so depressed that I wouldn't be able to proceed, basically. So I started doing anything that came to my attention. Reiki attunements, life coaching, seminars, reading books, anything that people would come to me and propose, I would try it. And in the process of trying that, I realized that I loved this place of coaching, this aspect of self-development outside of boundaries of other people in society. And a few years later, I decided to leave my job as an electrical engineer and study health coaching because health was my passion. As my body was failing me, I found ways to get into health again.
Okay.
So I started with health coaching. I started coaching people, coaching my friends, and then friends of friends. And I studied hard. I learned all of it. I was very passionate about health. And at some point in my, in 2 3 years into health coaching, I realized that there were some deep issues and some clients of mine that mindset around food and supplements wouldn't change their lives.
Okay.
So with some people, we had big results, huge results in their lives, and some others would bounce back and forth into doing the same old habits.
Right.
And that was very frustrating for me.
Okay.
So I could understand that there were barriers into their mindset into their belief system, into their how they view themselves in a deeper way, more spiritual and inner way than food. So I started researching and learning about that, and I committed to basically doing anything that came to my mind
All right.
around energy healing, around finding how I can work with people in a deeper way, how I can help them realize what's happening to them. And that's when I found some Akashic Records trainings, and I signed up. And basically, when I was being trained as an Akashic Records reader and healer, I felt like this is it. This is what makes sense to me. This is what resonates completely, and this is what I'm good at. And for the past 4 or 5 years, I've left health coaching.
Oh.
And I'm doing only the spiritual, deeper life coaching through the Akashic Records.
Right. Wow. Well, thanks for sharing. Like, you went through your journey, going from depression and then to health coaching, and then finally to doing, this Akashic Records work that seemed to be more like your purpose.
Yeah. Yes.
Right.
And now I know that my soul is also more aligned to doing Akashic Records readings. You know that, like we have done some similar trainings, and that a soul has its own essence. So my essence is doing more of energy healing and helping people find their truth.
Great. Yes, I mean, I offered Akashic Records reading for quite a long time, and definitely I'm very interested in spiritual healing work. Now, why is it important? Like, based on your journey, your experiences, why do you think it's so important for business owners to know what their unique self-expression looks like?
The biggest thing is that it ends a lot of the experimentation, wondering, and confusion that people might have, because when we become our own business owners, like we become business owners, which means that we can lead our lives the way we want to. We have a lot of influences, like coaches, other healers, other people that tell us, oh, you should be doing this. If you're not doing my system, you're going to fail. If you are not doing this, it's not going to work. So, and I found that this was me too at the beginning. I was so confused and I felt so in such a difficult position when lacking so much confidence when I heard so many people telling me in the spiritual and coaching world that I should be doing their thing.
Right.
That many times it didn't resonate with me.
Okay.
But I tried to follow their systems and they didn't work. And then I thought that probably I am the failure, because they definitely guarantee it's going to work if I follow their system. So when I realized that every soul has their own way of creating, for me, it was a huge revelation. For me, it made so much sense that I had to find my own authentic way of doing things, and maybe, take a few things from other people and how they do them, but only if there is a resonate to my soul and my own authentic expression. So now the experimentation is so much smaller in scale. It's not bouncing from one thing to another, trying to make things work and whatever sticks. But it's very specific because I have a flow, I have a specific path. I know I need to be following some specific principles. And there is a wiggle of experimentation between those principles, but not huge. So it helps with self-confidence. It helps with limiting the amount of time and energy we spend into experimenting. And it helps with becoming more aligned, which means more flow and energy coming through to us, more inspiration, more synchronicity that helps us move forward faster.
Right, right. So would you say that these are the kind of shifts that people would expect from working with you?
If they expect to get this kind of information, you mean?
This kind of shifts.
Yes, yes, definitely.
Right.
Yes.
Okay.
Of course, it depends on the amount of time, because that's not something like that happens in one session, right? It depends on how much dedicated and consistent the person is, but definitely we limit the amount of experimentation people do, and I help them find. It's not sole purpose, because in a sense of our soul, there is no purpose,
Mm-hmm.
but there are specific skills each one of us brings. So if
Right.
we work with them, and I help people work with them,
Right.
life gets easier and more in the flow than struggle, confusion, and lack of self-confidence.
I see. So is it just based? So how many sessions would this require? Like in order to kind of find out what your unique divine soul expression is?
Yes, so a great question. It depends on how deep a person wants to go, because there's always layers we can peel off the onion of learning about ourselves, right? But in one session, the soul realignment session, a person can know who they are at soul level and understand what their unique skills are. After that, they can go on their own and keep those principles in mind. And I give them specific questions to ask and specific process for them to question their choices, these decisions, so that the criteria is more soul aligned. That makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
But if they want to take it further and understand it better, we do coaching for like 3 to 6 months is even enough for a person to understand how
Right.
this applies in their lives and their business.
Right. Right. Okay. Interesting. And you know that following our highest path, right? And there's also following other people's path. Like, what is the difference, right? Because I think there's a lot of people out there who are not exactly following their highest purpose and path. Can you share a little bit more insights into this?
I think that one of the biggest struggles of human beings is to be able to find their own path and,
Mm-hmm.
and follow it. Because we are connected to the collective consciousness, we're connected to our family, we're connected to our society, we're connected to other people's beliefs, either we want it or not. So being able to know, to distinguish between who is us and what our desires and needs are, and what is influenced by other people
Mm-hmm.
from our childhood experiences, from the experiences now, from wanting to be liked and not very different than society. It's it's the big bet for most people
Mm-hmm.
to be able to distinguish between the two. A person, if I could describe a little bit the person who follows their highest path and purpose,
Mm-hmm.
is the person who might be so unique that they come up with an idea and they follow it and they get inspired with no attachment as to what the outcome will be, like making a lot of money or
Right.
becoming famous. Most people that really follow their soul aligned path and expression don't do it because they are attached to a specific result,
Right.
other than following their own inspiration and being guided by it.
Right. Right.
But and there are some people around the world that do that.
Mm-hmm.
The most of the rest of us, I would say like 95% of the people, um, are not there, or
Right.
we need to find a way to distinguish the two. Like I am one of these people. I was grown up in a more of a Christian way that says, okay,
Oh.
women have to be modest and they have to respect God and all of these things. And I was a very shy person, so I was always afraid of what other people would say about me.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So it has been a huge process, healing process and self-awareness process for me to be able to call myself psychic right now,
Right.
without being afraid of what other people are going to say.
Right.
Right?
Right.
Most of us are not. For most of us, it's not as easy.
Mm. Mm. I can imagine that, like, it's it would be quite a challenge, right? Especially you'll be thinking, what would your friends think if you start calling
Yes,
yourself psychic?
yes, and my electrical engineering friends, right? They're very
Yes.
scientific, and they're like, "Okay, what are you doing now?"
Yeah. And did you have to face that?
At the beginning, maybe
Mm-hmm.
I had, and I think that looking back now, I think that's why I went through health coaching first, because it's more tangible, it's more earth-based than what I do
Right.
now. So that's why I had to switch from being and when I went from electrical engineering to health coaching, I thought other people will consider me crazy. So it was a big leap anyway.
Right.
But it
Right.
would be an impossible leap for me to go from electrical engineering. Okay, now I'm a psychic.
Right. Right. It's
My
even more of a
mind
jump.
couldn't,
Yeah.
huge jump. My mind couldn't even imagine that, right? So I took myself into some steps process in order to get there. I guess it was a little bit of self-protection.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
because I'm generally a grounded person, I want to have tangible results before I offer something. Um, yeah, but generally people need support to be able to express themselves, to understand that they are safe to express themselves, to understand that it's safe to pave their own path and not follow other people's guidelines and rules of how it should look like. And
Mm.
that takes a work for many people. And it's okay to take work. It's a place where we learn a lot.
Now, what happens if your clients have blocks in a way, like, if you tell them that this is their soul aligned path, but they are having their own mental challenges, like, like maybe is something similar, right? Like they're supposed to go and be or explore the spirituality, right? But or be a spiritual coach, for instance, but they're having that block for them, right? Do you help in the clearing work? Like, what happens?
Yes. So part of my work, a big part of my work is healing work.
Mm-hmm.
So taking them into deep healing journeys that help us understand what's going on and what's blocking them and from where it stems from. So finding the root causes of blockages like beliefs and feelings and thoughts or thought patterns that they have.
Mm-hmm.
So we change the whole, so when we do that, we slightly change the whole vibration of the person. So
Mm-hmm.
they get into a different state of mind, but also in a different vibration, which means that they attract different things in their lives. And when we start attracting different things, like different people, let's say a person who is really afraid of doing spiritual work,
Yes.
is doing some shifts and they understand that it actually works, so they become more and more familiar to it, but also they start attracting people into their lives, friends and people, new people they meet, that they're actually into it, into spiritual work, so they don't feel so alienated or so alone. So that
Right.
could be a shift that happens because we shift the inner world.
That makes sense. Right. Great. I can see that it's like doing the healing work and opening up new possibilities.
Yes, yes. From inside, so it's, I guess it's twofold. The new possibilities. It's shifting the inside to be able to have more of an open perspective of what could be, but also shifting the outside world and what we attract to us
Right.
through the healing work.
Right. Right. And I'm curious, like, would it always be some form of spiritual work or business, or would it ever be like that is their soul aligned path to be an engineer, for instance? Can it be like it's law, for instance, that they should be pursuing something more conventional? Would it be that way?
Yes, definitely.
Oh,
Definitely.
okay. So it's possible.
Yes, definitely. There are some people that are supposed to work on law and make it better.
Right.
And make justice better, like create a shift there. Or some people are supposed to be in the entertainment industry, and that's what is soul aligned for them. It's just that I work with people who are already spiritually curious, so it's not so big and very different to them. So they are at least a little bit open to understanding that there is more than our logical mind.
Right. Okay. Interesting. And the information that you find out is mainly to help business owners to find their unique path. Like, what happens if someone have relationship issues or issues with family? Like, do you also help in these areas?
Yes. So I work mainly with business owners, but I have clients who don't have a business or are not thinking of having a business, and they have relationship issues or just self-confidence issues, or they cannot sleep at night because they have a lot of thoughts and they have a lot of stress. Basically, when we work with finding more of who we are at the soul level and our own skills, we can apply that not only in business, but in our everyday lives. So we get healing and we get awareness and we become better at any aspect of our lives. We're a holistic being, a whole being. So business and relationships are not that unrelated to each other.
Yes.
How we do one thing, we basically do the rest of our lives. So shifting into a more aligned way of living shifts basically everything in our lives, but we can have a specific target like relationships or like anxiety or business.
Right. I'm glad you say that. Like, how you do anything is how you do everything, and it creates this ripple effect that impacts other areas of our lives as well. And actually, everything is interrelated.
Yes, definitely. I've had clients that we were working on their relationship issues because they had issues with their husband or something like that. And after they made the relationship better, the communication more effective, they made a lot more money.
Right.
Without doing anything in business. So it's always related.
Nice. Well, it's awesome that you're able to help them, create results like that. Now, I'm just wondering, like, having found your own unique path, how has this impacted you in terms of your life?
Wow. Okay, that's a great question. How has it impacted my life? I definitely have a lot deeper relationships now. I feel supported. I feel I have friends, and my connection with my family is also a lot deeper and more profound and effective. Yeah, and I have people in my life that I feel like I'm connected heart to heart with, which for me was so difficult 10 years ago. It was almost impossible. Some people called me Ice Queen because they couldn't approach me.
Okay.
That was the thing. So that's one thing. Of course, the other thing is that the results I get in my business, I'm one of the people that I don't want to be working all day. So I'm always trying to find the ways, and that's why I teach that to other people. I'm always trying to find ways with the smaller steps to get bigger results. Because I'm kind of lazy.
Right.
And I don't take pleasure into calling myself, a workaholic and I work all day. I don't like that.
Right.
And I know a lot of people would resonate with that. And I do feel that sense of, groundedness and tetherness, in the sense that I feel that no matter what comes to me and no matter what comes to the global scene, because a lot of changes are happening, I will find my own way, and I am going to be fine no matter what happens. And this is not just mental, I can feel it.
Right.
So I don't get stressed.
Right.
I mean, there's always some kind of stress.
Yeah.
But the levels of stress are a lot lower, and they don't tether me now. Like I don't go like a boat in a wavy ocean. I am way calmer in my life.
Right. Amazing, right? Just by finding your own unique soul path, right? These are some of the changes that you've been experiencing.
And a lot of healing along the way too.
And it's nice that, you start to feel more grounded, you start to feel like more confident, and things are, well, there's always stress, right? But that you are not as disrupted by all the things that are happening around. So I think it's great. Now, if there is a business advice or tip that you can share with the viewers, what would it be?
I definitely have a lot in my mind, but if I could choose one, and regarding our conversation already, I would say that it's important for new business owners, or generally business owners, to connect with their own intuition, their own heart, when they hear advice, and when they hear people saying, okay, this is what you should be doing, this is how it should look like, this is how much money you should be doing in order to be successful, and all these things that we get bombarded with, especially at the beginning. So connect with your intuition and see if that thing that the other person is telling you that you should be doing because it worked for them speaks to you, or if it speaks to you at this time, because it might speak to you like 5 years from now, but not at this point.
Right.
So always have discernment around what works for you and what you feel might work for you, instead of stressing to try 10 things from 10 different people, or even from one person, just because they told you it worked for them.
Right. So your business advice, if I'm to sum up, is about following your intuition and really having that connection, right, with the thing that you're hoping to get on, and not to get distracted, right, by what other people are saying. Am I
Yes.
right? Like, can I confirm
Yes.
this? Right. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Well, that's a great advice, right? About connecting with intuition, following your own unique path, and just be able to create that flow in our businesses. Thank you, Anastasia, for sharing your wisdom, your insights, and your clarity with us. And I'm so grateful to have this chance to have a chat with you. How do people look for you? Like your website address? You'll be sharing that. Like, how do they reach out to you?
Yes, people can reach out to me through Facebook. You can find me on my Facebook page, which is Anastasia Salichou Transformation Coach. Or you can find me on my website, www.anastasia.coach. Or email me at anastasia@anastasia.coach.
Right.
And I would be happy to answer questions or whatever people need to talk to.
Right. Okay, great. I will you will share the links with me, and I'll be posting the links together with this this video. Well, thank you for being here. I'm just so glad to have this chance to connect with you. And I'd like to thank all the viewers for viewing this video. And thank you. Love and abundance always. And take care. See you in the next video.
Bye-bye.